tap a toe or two.
Yeah. Are we doing a show?
Now, we are noting, as many GLers have noted, that Democrats, particularly of the DSA stripe, also known as Mysterians, they haven't offered anything in opposition to Trump. Is that a fair statement?
I would say so.
All I hear from them is their contempt for Trump.
We got to get him.
No matter what he does, let's get Trump. Omar Fateh wants to Trump-proof Minneapolis, and Walz has spent a great deal of time complaining about Trump, and Walz's daughter has spent. But where are your ideas? I'm very serious. Where are your ideas? This Mamdani in New York. What are your ideas? Well, it's not really an idea to have free stuff because somebody else has to pay for it. That's not an idea. I don't find the Mysterians very imaginative because they don't introduce good thinking about how to make the world tick a little better. So this might be further indication of it. Put together a little Mysterian roundup, have you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to visit several different places, and just keep this in mind.
Are we going on the GL jet?
We're going to start in the state of Kentucky. Now, wherever we go,
I've been to Kentucky, Chris.
You can just replace, in this case, Kentucky with Minnesota.
You could.
Or we're going to visit Chicago. You could just replace it with Minneapolis.
All right, Kentucky. I've been to Louisville. I covered one of the great races there once. Affirmed won the Kentucky Derby the year I was there.
Melissa Mormon, Joe, is an employee of the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, otherwise known as KYTC. Well, Joe, she was fired after she blew the whistle on a scheme to give driver's license to illegal aliens at $200 each under the table. Mormon says that the scheme would happen 4 to 5 times per day at multiple branches across the state, totaling potentially thousands of invalid licenses in the state of Kentucky.
Stop right there. The woman who blew the whistle on this illegal activity was fired?
Yes.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
Continue.
She
I'm
was
sorry.
employed. That's okay. KYTC claims that the licenses were issued in error. After exposing the scheme, Mormon was fired. The KYTC also denied any public request for documentation, withholding nearly 2,300 records. Here is your investigation from the local television affiliate.
The state didn't want this out. Fraud inside Kentucky's transportation cabinet. Licenses issued without a driver's test.
It is an ongoing WDRB investigation, and tonight we hear from a whistleblower who says coworkers used her login to pull off this scheme.
The employees were being paid underneath the table.
They say sometimes
I immediately let my supervisor know about it.
truth hurts.
Did you ever think that this would cost you your job?
No,
And for Melissa Mormon,
I was angry for a long time.
this is one of those.
It hurts me that I'm talking about this and I actually like where I was working at.
Times.
I came into the office that day, my computer was shut down. I was told to go to the front door. Detectives came in, they interviewed me. That was it.
Mormon says she was fired 3 months after she sent this letter to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, blowing the whistle that workers at the Nia Center licensing branch were selling driver's licenses under the table to people who never took the driver's test.
Undocumented workers.
How did it work? What was going on?
The undocumented workers would come into the office in groups. They would provide them either permits or driver's license illegally. So they were bypassed without even taking the test.
How much?
$200 a person.
Up to 5 times a day, she says.
Was this an everyday thing?
Almost, yes.
WDRB was the television station
All
that
right,
reported
that was
on
Kentucky.
this. Yep.
Little fraud in the license department.
But again, you could replace Kentucky with...
Oh, you could put it anywhere. Sure. Where are we going next, Chris?
Let's check in with our friends at MSNBC, Joe.
That's in, where's that?
Over there on
It's
that East Coast.
New York, maybe?
It's
We're
in America.
Yeah.
All right.
An MSNBC reporter has broke from the narrative and admits, Joe, that residents in D.C. are fed up with the rampant crime.
Can I tell you who that reporter is?
You can.
That
You
man,
may.
that man is a Justice Department employee named Anthony Coley, who is an officer of public affairs. He is the executive vice president and managing director of communications at the Washington-based Managed Funds Association. He is a legal correspondent for MSNBC, and I think it's germane to the issue to note that he is a black fellow. And he has this to say.
And I live in Washington. This is personal for me. Many people are frustrated with crime that we see, particularly committed by juveniles in the city of Washington. People are frustrated, Willie, that when they go to CVS to buy deodorant, that they have to get it from behind locked plexiglass, right? But the response here, and let me say this, right? These are not just random anecdotes. What we see in Washington Post polling, among others, is that roughly half of D.C. residents, mostly half of D.C. residents, view this as a serious problem or an extremely serious problem.
Well, that probably had to cause a little meltdown behind the cameras at MSNBC because a fellow came on and inconveniently enough told the truth. All right, where are we going next?
Well, we're going to stay in Washington, D.C., and this was also based upon the crime data that NBC reported upon. This is a liberal D.C. election worker who is opposed to those numbers that were revealed by MSNBC, talking about the fact that crime is down because there's just one little tidbit of information that we're forgetting.
I don't know if I should be saying this on the internet, but as someone who lives in DC, people in DC do not really care that Trump deployed the National Guard. Most people are quiet or like, or are literally like, thank God. Okay. The only people I've seen outraged are people from other states. People in DC, quiet. I worked in a local election a few months ago. Mind you, this is a place that voted 90% for Kamala. And by far, the biggest issue for people was crime. People didn't care about anything else. People were going ham. I went to so many forums and people were like, what are you going to do about these badass kids?
All right, I'll cut to the chase. Basically, she also says the following. She said that crime was down by 30%. That's a little deceitful. Violent crime is down 30%, and they are only counting homicides as violent crime in the city of Washington, D.C. And we alluded to that earlier in the week with, was it the former police commander that was relieved of their duties? I believe so. Being a little bit, what do you call it?
So what I'm to glean from that little visit in our Mysterian tour is that the people of Washington, D.C., the people who live there, might be welcoming this intrusion of National Guard.
Yes.
All right.
I love how she mentioned it's the people in other states
that are upset. Yeah. Orange man bad.
The Haverkamps show up in their station wagon from Missouri, and I suppose they are troubled by the presence of the law enforcement.
I believe we have enough fuel in the GL jet to head now to Chicago.
I've been to Chicago. It's the windy city, Chris.
That's right. Your mayor, Joe, Brandon Johnson, has some things to say about what he plans to do about the issues plaguing the city of Chicago.
Okay,
fine. Since you are begging, I do believe that Donald Trump is intimidated. I think you're begging.
No interruption.
So let me just answer that. I do appreciate you begging. So I would just say it like this, that the president has always been intimidated by the intellectual prowess of black men. And so, of course, he would speak in those petite and puerile terms because
I have no idea what he's referring to.
That's because you don't understand the intellect.
I guess not.
Well, and it's because that's become the rallying cry from the left. We got to go get Trump.
Trump is the least of Chicago's problems.
Yeah.
The least.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
We might be able to get an Uber now because we're only going to Kansas City.
Kansas City, I've been to Kansas City. Some good rib joints in Kansas City. The ballparks are out in the suburbs where they should be.
I know I played this clip yesterday, but I think you insisted upon hearing it again today.
If it's the grocery store, I can't hear it enough.
City-owned grocery store in Kansas City has now shut down, Joe, after nearly $29 million from the city had been invested to keep its doors open. But don't worry, it'll probably work out anywhere else they try.
I don't think it will.
For months, the store hasn't fully been stocked. Still, person after person comes to buy groceries.
I thank the previous operator for the years they put into that, as well as their predecessor. And now we'll try to do all we can to make sure that this works.
Mayor Quinton Lucas is disappointed. He met with the store operator 2 weeks ago for hours trying to come up with a solution.
Yeah, I know there are different challenges to how a grocery store can operate.
Really?
Part of that challenge is that the city certainly has been happy to be a partner. but there's always a limit to what we will invest as well.
It comes down to money. The city owns the building and has invested nearly $29 million in the store. Still, the Sunfresh was losing money.
All of a sudden, you roll down here this morning and they're gone, and they're saying they're not coming back.
All neighbors know is there's no food here now, and they wish that wasn't the case.
I'd like to know what could be done, maybe to bring it back.
In Kansas City, Brian Johnson, KMBC 9 News.
They're struggling to understand how to work a grocery store because none of them have ever worked in an environment where there are consequences.
The number one cause for the reason it didn't work was theft.
That's right. Where are we going next, Chris?
Let's come back home.
Right here to Minnesota?
Hope Walls has made some news.
Hope Walls is the daughter of our Governor Cockwomble.
And boy, oh boy, she also is saying the number one issue plaguing the state of Minnesota is, of course, President Donald Trump.
That's our problem.
Okay, so on the topic of book talk, as well as Trump's bitch baby wussy scaredy cat behavior in DC, it got me thinking of a book I read in college. I think it was when I was at the University of Minnesota. It was Locking Up Her Own by James Foreman Jr.
Come on, you can do
and it talks about what led to, arguably, you should also read the new Jim Crow and then go into this one along with like a million.
Stop it. I don't know if I can get through this.
I know.
Is there?
But I think
she's actually painful to listen to.
I know.
I'll stomach it.
It's 90 seconds, and you've already made it 29.
Wait a second. Did she change directions mid-sentence?
Kenny, that doesn't matter. Come on.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll put
It's
up
almost
with it.
like, let her roll, Sherry. Let her keep going. She's on a roll.
It's so painful.
Keep up with her intellect.
You guys can do another 1 minute and 2 seconds. I think.
Between, but that's just 1, 2. You kind of get it. But like modern mass incarceration of like black men, and it talks about DC and the war on drugs and how all of that led up to what we're now seeing. Also note the crime rate in DC is at the lowest it's been in 30 years.
No, wait.
But this is a good book to kind of get like a larger viewpoint of this sort of stuff. And it's always been like one form of another of like the U.S. locking up people that aren't like rich and white and men. And like we're very much seeing that continuation go on.
You're almost there. You're almost there.
I would argue also with what we see with Trump, it's just like more of it. Yeah, go read that book. This was not worded very well, but
we know.
It's a really good book. But start with the new Jim Crow because that's just like the most basic level reading of that stuff.
What in God's name was she talking about?
How fun would it be to get her on the program and not let her walk off? Just sit there for an hour
and listen to her
and talk to somebody who actually has a brain.
Oh my God!
Oh, by the way, for those of you keeping score at home, I tallied 13 uses of the word "like" in 1 minute and 31 seconds.
Boy, she's just dumb, isn't she?
Where does she live? I wonder. I mean, she might have her own place.
Isn't she living in the governor's mansion?
Well, that I don't know, and it's none of my business.
Well, the only reason I think that is because remember when she posted the video of her eating macaroni and cheese with her pajamas?
I thought she was in her own place.
Oh, I thought she was at the mansion.
Oh, maybe. Gee, it's kind of a tough... Can she live in the mansion and then come out with all of this BS, I wonder?
How coddled has she been her entire life?
Pretty coddled.
Yeah.
She lives in Bozeman, Montana.
Really?
Well, what the hell is she doing out in Bozeman?
Wow.
She works as a social worker and ski instructor.
Oh, I see.
And that is your roundup.
Probably at Big Sky, huh?
A social worker and a ski instructor.
That's the AI overview, so if we trust that.
I don't trust AI.
We don't trust
Wouldn't it be funny if she's living in you said Montana? Is that what you said?
That's what he said, Chris.
If she's living in Montana to avoid taxes?
Yeah.
Bozeman used to be conservative. Probably not so much anymore.
Not if Hope's living there.
Joe, that is your Mysterian roundup.
Thanks for that Mysterian roundup.
Yep. Big Sky. You're correct, Kenny.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a hell of a drive from Bozeman up to Big Sky. Ooh, that's one you'll remember.
I wonder if she uses a gas guzzling